the school committee. Am I willing? I will not drop it because if I win, I mean, that's kind of crazy. I mean, it was the school committee that's in place now that caused the situation to happen, not me or me by getting elected, should it in fact change. No, there are ways that we can solve this without going to court, but if the school committee does not want to listen to it, I don't need to talk about it.
Do you have another question?
Yeah, does anyone else have a question in the audience? How do you propose to improve the cooperation between the school committee and the Board of Selectmen?
Deception. Quit blowing smoke and sending signals the wrong way. If the selectmen in this town, which I feel are all adequate, intelligent individuals that are in place for a reason, if we would not deceive them so much and tell them straightforward, this is what it is, they in fact would listen. Have they been deceived enough where now they're kind of the boy that cried wolf and now he's a little gun shy? I think if we can earn the respect of the selectmen back, this school can do many wonderful things for the town. We need to earn their respect back. That's what the school committee needs to
do. The next question I had actually deals with the MCAS, and you spoke to this a little bit in your opening, and I'll ask the same question. Everyone's going to get this question. If elected, you'll be making decisions, because this is going to be happening in the next 2 years, and if you're elected, you'll be on the board for 3. You'll be making decisions on handling the students who, at least at this time, if they are unable to pass or get a passing grade on the MCAS, will be dealing with graduation requirement that they have not fulfilled. And so I was wondering, as a potential school committee candidate, what's your plan for dealing with those students?
Well, basically not really researching as much as I should have. I have a different opinion of the MCAS. I thought the MCAS was designed by the state to show the state where each school district needed help in the learning factor. I might have been wrong. I probably am wrong. And all of a sudden, the kids need it for a graduation requirement. This should be eliminated immediately. There are kids in town and throughout the state that aren't going to meet those requirements. So now they're saying, well, if I know I'm not going to pass, I'm just going to start skipping school. I'm going to go over here and hang out in the corner. I'm going to start loitering. We can't allow that. We have to take care of that 5% of the kids. We need to eliminate the MCAS for a graduation requirement. Are there ways to do that? I'm sure there is. I don't believe the MCAS. I believe the MCAS should be a report card for the school, not for the student.
And actually, to a degree, that the initial implementation of MCAS is, and ongoing, is to check and see how good the Ed Reform Act is doing. But in so doing, it's evaluating the students as well. And so the state, at least for now, the state is saying that it will make it a requirement of graduation that the students pass that. So I guess just to come back and say, assume that you're unsuccessful or there is no success in MCAS not being a requirement. It's 2 years down the road. It is a requirement. What exactly do you see as your plan for dealing with those kids who may have been unsuccessful in getting that passing grade?
We need to sit down and have as much volunteer basis as we can to help the kids. Will it happen? I could see us helping the kids to pass, but will they pass? I don't believe we'll get 100%. That's going to leave that one kid out there that's going to bother me for the safety aspect of the school. As a school committee, we will just have to designate our teachers to just work a little bit harder and give those students just a little bit more time to see if we can't kind of push them along just a little better, but not make it so demanding where they'll just give up on you.
Thank you. I guess one other question that I have is, Amy, do you have another email question?
I do.
Okay.
What would you have done to cope with the budget shortfall this year?
Say again.
What would you have done or suggested that the school committee do to cope with the budget shortfall that they have this year?
When you talk dollars and cents on a budget, you can take $1,000 here and $1,000 there and you'll get nothing. You have to look at big dollar items. The big dollar items would be, can we cut the administration staff? I'm sure we can save a lot of dollars. Have we looked at all the possibilities of combining personnel? You take facilities manager. These buildings belong to the town has a facilities manager. Why do we hire one? We have a lot of dollars right there. As far as $20,000 for a book here, that's nothing. You will get nowhere on that. We need to look at eliminating some of the positions that are in the non-critical field. I call the non-critical field teaching. That is the critical field of a school. Administration, can they do with 2 secretaries? Now they have 3. Can we eliminate one? I'm sure of it. Just the people will have to work a little bit harder for the money that they're being paid.
Time for one more question, unless there's any questions from the floor before I crowd up the last of the time. In your candidate profile, and you alluded to it again in the opening, so I want to kind of get a clarification on it. You talked about the role of the school committee and the role of the superintendent. And basically in your profile, you said who's the boss. Is
Right.
essentially how it comes down
Yes.
to. So I'm wondering, again, you're elected to the school committee and you're there now. What's going to change?
The thing will change would have to be the superintendent will be responsible and accountable for any decision that he makes. If he can justify it, that he's doing the right thing. I know that there are a lot of state mandated things. As a taxpayer, I don't know these state mandates. If he can show me, fine, things go on. But if he can show me to come up and say, well, we need this amount of money for busing. You got to show me. That's why I don't like the school budget the way it is. There's so many hidden costs in there. It's not, when I look at my checkbook, I got so much for food, I got so much for electricity, I got so much for water. It doesn't say bills. I mean, the school budget has to be designated to earn the respect back to the selectmen, back to the taxpayers. If you line itemed each one of those, now the people say, well, yeah, we really need that money. Now you'll get the selectmen to vote on it. Now you'll get the taxpayers to vote on it. But if you come up and say administration costs $300,000, that means absolutely nothing to me. We can take, why does the school have their own legal lawyers? Why aren't they using the town's legal lawyers? That was brought up last year. Where in the budget can I look and see how much they spent for legal fees in the school? It doesn't say. Now you're deceiving me and you're deceiving my fellow taxpayers. We need to get the respect back.
Well, thank you very much.
Can I just ask one follow-up to
yeah,
that?
we got
Just for,
1
in
minute.
terms of the relationship, if you're elected to school committee, you're elected along with a board of people who the town has endorsed as being qualified to make the decisions regarding the school and all the school department. At what point do they need to be accountable to the Board of Selectmen? It almost sounds to me like there could be a possibility for micromanagement or
I
something.
don't know if the school committee is accountable to the selectmen.
So when you say they need to earn the respect of the...
As far as the
Board of
budget
Selectmen.
process,
Okay.
that's not running the school at all. To get the selectmen to be on the school committee's side to build a new high school, you need to earn their respect. How do you do that? You work in your office and make it right. You prove to the other office Yep, we've done everything possible we could. Here it is, line by line. You show me what we can change different. That's not micromanagement. That's being honest, upfront, and truthful. Be it a selectman or be it a taxpayer or a parent.
Well, thank you for answering questions and being very straightforward. And now you've got a little less than 5 minutes for your close.
Well, I don't really need 5 minutes. I appreciate the time you've given me. All I can say is, if elected to this office, it will be one of the most honest ones and the most fairest and the most truthful that this town's seen in a lot of years. That's all I have to say. As long as I am honest and truthful to the taxpayers of this town, everything will fall in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, we thank Mr. Wiese for coming and speaking to us, and we have one more school committee candidate to listen to. We're going to take a short break, and then Ms. Maureen Vacca will be in to talk to us. Thank you.
I'm the public.
Make
Not
sure
Republican.
we're on. Maureen wants all the, you know, Maureen wants the more people. Close the door.
Okay, welcome back. This is the Citizens Action Committee's Candidates Q&A. We're talking this afternoon with school committee candidates. We have our last school committee candidate that has agreed to come and speak to us, Ms. Maureen Vacca, who we'll get to in a moment. As I've been doing for every one of these segments, let me get some business out of the way and talk about what this event is about. The Citizens Action Committee wanted to do a forum where the public could ask questions and get answers from the candidates who are running for both Board of Selectmen and for school committee. This afternoon we've been talking to school committee. This morning we talked to 3 of the candidates for Board of Selectmen. And it's basically a job interview where these folks are running for an office that works for the public, and so the public should have a chance to ask those questions. To that end, we sent all of the candidates a candidate's profile